Alright, let's get started. So, the first step in pretty much any wing build is to just glue all the pieces together. So we've got our center section here, our two wings, we're going to be gluing those up. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to grab this piece of sandpaper and just rough up this edge. Give the glue all the chance you can to stick to it. So I'm just going to take a second here and just rough this up. Okay, yeah, that's good. You want to get that shiny bit from where they cut the foam off, and just get it. When you've got that part sanded off, it'll feel almost fuzzy, and that's how you know you've got through it. So, just gonna do this on the same thing here. It only takes a second. It's not a thick coating. You just got to get through it. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's hard to see, but this side's very scratchy, and this side's now soft. So let me do the other two real quick, and oh yeah, there we go. All right. Now, how do you tell the top from the bottom of your wing? The bottoms will be flat. You can see it on the table there. See it rocks. And you put it this way, and it doesn't really rock. So it's easy to tell when you look at them. Yeah, the top's very curved. Bottom's very much more flat. So this wing is a little odd because the center section is different, a different size than the wings. You can see right here that it sticks up. It's supposed to be that way. Most planes it will be flush, but on this one you're supposed to line up the bottom. So let's get to it. I'm going to use goop for this because it dries a little faster than the E6000. I probably use the E6000 for putting in spars, but because it's a little runnier than goop, but we're going to use goop for this part. Oh, actually, we'll pause this video for 1 second because I'll be right back. There's something I forgot. Alright, so I just paused the video there for a second. Remember what I told you? I was sure I was going to forget something. Latex gloves. You don't need them, but they make your life easier when you're working with glue. You don't get glue all over your hands. Good enough. So this glue, you want to put it on one side, a nice thick coat like that. You really want to get a lot of it on there. Then you take your two halves here and smear it together, just like that. There we go. You see I got some glue oozing out of the center there. That's fine. Just rub it right back in. No problem. Make sure you got it really well coated on both sides. Now goop is in some ways a contact adhesive, so we're going to give that a minute. We're going to do the other side. You're going to give it a few minutes to kind of tack up, and then you stick it together and it really holds. There we go. No chance. There's no chance I'm not going to glue this to the desk. Okay. Let's see, smooth these two together just like that. Get some extra up there, it's fine. Really get it on both sides there. Nice. Good. Alright, so we're going to give it about 2 minutes. kind of tack up there, and then we're going to stick these pieces together. And then once we stick them together, they're going to need to dry for a while. Not exactly overnight, but longer you can let them dry, the better. In the meantime, I'm going to grab my pins here. Now, I told you these pins would come in handy, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. So, let me pause the video, and I'll be back in a second when these things are starting to tack up, and we'll stick them together. Alright, so our glue is just about ready, but one of the things I forgot to mention in the parts video were servos. Because I have them, I already had the servos, I didn't order them. And there you are, these Hextronic MG14 Metal Gear servos, which I have never used before. They came with something that I bought. They seem fine, so I usually use Emax Metal Gear servos, but they are Metal Gear servos, and I'm going to give them a try, so hopefully they work out. Alright, so it's been a few minutes since we put the glue on and smeared it around, so I took the gloves off. I'm just going to have to get glue on my hands. They didn't fit. Yeah, and that's pretty sticky and tacky now, so it's about ready to put these pieces together. I'm going to start with this side. You want to, when you're using contact adhesive, you want to get it right the first time. So you start at the front here and line up these pieces. And just line them up all the way back, and then, yeah, just like that. And give it a good hard push. Don't forget you have glue on the other side. There, just like that. Okay. Now, you see we've got that well lined up there on the bottom. It's not lined up on the top, but it's not supposed to be. So, normally you'd line up both sides. Yeah. It's one of the curiosities of this particular wing. It doesn't line up. But apparently it's not supposed to. Oh, there's glue on that side. So you get a little glue oozing out there. We're just going to rub it in. It's fine. Okay, now that needs to dry for a while. So, I'm going to do the other wing too, but first I want to get this one to stay together. Remember I told you these T-pins would come in handy, and this is what you use them for. You stick them in the foam just like this. There we go. I'm just going to hold these pieces together while it's drying. So we're just going to go right down the line here and kind of use these pins to knit this thing together. I'll show you the result of that in a second. They kind of just pull the whole thing together and keep it together while it's drying. There we go. One more up here. Don't worry about poking holes in the foam. That's you're never going to see those holes. Alright, so there we go. Squeeze these two in a little further. Yeah, so you see there I've got the pins just holding that together so it can dry. It's going to take a while to dry. So let's do the other side. Get it lined up. Start at the front like that. And just line it up on the way down as you go. There we go. The contact adhesive, like I said, you really want to get it right the first time. You don't want to be readjusting. So make sure you're lined up and then give that a good firm press together. Yeah, just like that. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So, that's going to take a while to dry. You know what, while we're here, let's do the bottom on this side with some pins. Squeeze that together again. There we go. Good. Yep. Nothing over there. Good. Another one back here. Good. Okay, let's do the same thing on this other side. So as you go, just make sure it's lined up. If you have to readjust it, you can. Now while the glue's not dry. Now if you didn't have any T-pins, what you could do is take some painter's tape, some blue tape. I have some right here. No, it's duct tape, but painter's tape like this. Blue masking tape, and just wrap it all the way around and just seal the whole thing up and just hold it together while it's gluing. And once the glue dries, it'll be together, but you want to kind of put a little pressure on it to keep it together while it's drying. Another point to be careful of is the pins, when you run them out through the top there, will stab your fingers on that. Be careful. All right, if you stab yourself with a pin, it's not my fault. Don't try to sue me. All right. The thing about building wings is it requires a bit more patience than building quadcopters. I can put together a quadcopter easily in the space of an afternoon. You know, screw together the frame, get everything soldered. Wings aren't like that. With a wing, you need the glue and then let that bad boy dry. And honestly, most of the time, the longer you can wait, the better off the result. This glue says in 24 hours it dries and then fully cures in 48 to 72 hours. So you want to at least give it the 24 hours drying time. And if you can wait longer, just stuck myself with a pin, but just barely. If you can wait longer, even better. But once it's semi-cured, I mean, as long as you're not yanking on it, it's not going to come apart. You know, so you can go ahead and move on with the next step, but still, patience definitely required. Okay, I don't put any other pins anywhere else. Yeah, I think I'm going to put another one right here. Well, looks pretty good. Alright, pretty happy with that. My seams are well lined up there. So the last thing I'm going to do before I let this thing dry is I'm going to take a little bit of this goop. And I'm just going to hit these seams with it. I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger and then just hit these seams with it. And just kind of rub it down into that seam. Just like that. Goop, as it dries, will actually pull these pieces together. That's one of the funny things about goop. And E6000. E6000 and goop are almost the same glue, with the difference being the E6000 is a little runnier, where goop is a little thicker. So keep that in mind. If you need a more runny version of goop, it's pretty much what E6000 is. Stuff is gets in your fingers, you want to wash it off right away, because once it cures, it's very hard to get off. Okay. Just smear into the seam there. Go right along the seam down here at the bottom. There we go. And a little bit more. And there we go. We're going to be gluing something onto these seams on the top, so I'm not that concerned about those ones, because that's where those fins are going to go. So that'll also help hold that together. But it doesn't hurt to add a little extra goop. Okay. That's pretty good. Now, because the pins are there, it's probably not going to stick to my table, which is good because it's going to slightly elevate it. So, good. You don't really have to worry about weighting the wing at this point. I know maybe you've seen other guys do that where they'll put weights on the wing to help it hold its shape while the glue is drying. That's not really, when you're gluing the wings together, that's not that important. That's important when you put the spars in, because the spars can, if you don't keep that wing flat, the spars can really twist your wing, you know, and then once the glue dries on those, they're not moving. This, you know, this wing will, I don't want to flex it because the glue is drying, but it will still be plenty flexible. It will not hold a shape, you know, permanently just from this glue. So no need to weight it down. But that's pretty much it for now. We're going to have to wait until this glue dries before we can really do anything else. At least dries enough to move on to start putting the spars in. So next step we'll be putting in spars. It's like rubber cement on your fingers. So I'm going to pause the video here and we'll resume once this glue has dried a bit. See you in a little while.